So welcome, everyone. My name is Steve Davis. I'm with the Alumni Office, which is part of the Career Center here at BYU Idaho. You're going to hear from me for a few minutes. We'll keep this fairly brief, but please feel free to chime in with any questions. You can obviously use the chat feature. You can also use just chime in. This is a small group. We can chat back and forth. But our goal today is to kind of share with you a vision of what we're hoping to do with what we're calling the BYU Idaho Mighty Oaks Network. And the Mighty Oaks Network is a group of alumni. We used to call them BYU Idaho Alumni Ambassadors. I know Teresa Orm, who's on with us, was one of them back in the day. The goal back then was to encourage students to come to BYU Idaho. And that's actually going to be a little bit part of our, what we're going to be doing as well. But now that we're in the Career Center, our job in the Alumni Office, working with the Career Center and others, is to connect our students with our alumni so they can find, as this statement says, lifelong learning and employment. And we do have a Mighty Oaks group. We have a big alumni group, but within this Mighty Oaks network, we have a little over 1,000 alumni who have graciously volunteered to help us do a little bit of our work, in particular in helping students and our other alumni. We have a new Career Center. I'll show you some pictures of it here in a second, in the Manwaring Center, which is a fabulous facility. It gives us a chance to really broadcast to our students that what we're trying to do. And one of the things that we're really focusing on is what we call the alumni engagement funnel. And it really starts with all of our alumni. We'll talk about them in a minute, but having our alumni and our students be aware of the services we offer and invite them to do a few things that we hope will help them find mentors, internships, and jobs. And then as they leave and become active alumni professionals, they can in turn come back and help with this network. And we have something on campus that we call the Power to Become effort. The Power to Become, it started out as a conference that we held every 9 months. And it was an opportunity for our alumni to be in front of our students and encourage them and inspire them to do three things: discover their passion, tell their story, and network effectively. And for our students, we want them to be able to, in the audience, be able to say, wow, I can do that. I can work on Wall Street. I can work at Microsoft. I can be the gal picture in the top right, Amy Antonelli, who's worked at Apple and at Facebook and managed an orphanage in India. Not an orphanage, but it was a service group that built schools for the children of lepers in India. But it's expanded to that. We do have the annual conference. We're going to actually have it now every October. We're going to start doing regional events. Regional events are, we actually held our first one last week in Kansas City, Missouri. We do have some Power to Become podcasts. When you come into the Career Center, you'll see lots of pictures and stories of our alumni who are out there working. And then the magazine is going to go out this week. You'll be getting it in your mailboxes. But there's going to be parts of the Power to Become message in our magazine. With our alumni efforts, it all starts, and Tyler, if you'll monitor chat for me, and Josue maybe, just to see if, I don't want to miss anything, but I'll kind of keep an eye on it as well. But with the first job is we need to keep track of our alumni so we can send them the magazine. We can invite them to do things. Student records is easy. That we know where all of our current students are. The next step in this process then is to help our alumni and our students be aware of what we're doing. The alumni magazine, this is actually the cover of the new magazine that's coming out right this week. We also send out a monthly email. The students have the Power to Become efforts we have on campus. And we have the Become Mighty Challenge, which invites our students to come into our center and do things like have their resume looked at, join our networking community, all of those kind of activities to help them understand what we're trying to do. The next step is consideration. So you know what we're doing. Now we're going to invite you to do things. And the easiest thing is to kind of follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. But we have this section that we call what we call the network activation zone, which is where an alumnus or a student actually actively gets more involved with the network by attending events, being on our platforms. These could be things like a career fair. This bottom right picture is a picture of our new career center. About 8 times a semester, we have what we call the career marketplace, where our students can come in and visit with 10 to 15 employers. We do have information sessions where our students are visiting with alumni. That bottom left picture is also in our career center, but sometimes it's in different parts of the Mannering Center on campus. Top left is the Power to Become conference, which we have 2,500 students and alumni in the Hart Gym, listening to our alumni, listening to the stories we have. But the next goal, and this is what we call our loyalty level, this is where our alumni and our students are on what we call BYUI Connect. BYUI Connect is a platform where alumni are in a position to mentor students, and students are in a position to be mentored by our alumni. These are up-to-date numbers. We have a little over 11,500 alumni on BYUI Connect and approaching 10,000 students. And we're going to continue to encourage more alumni and more students to be involved. And then the next level is what we call our advocacy level. This is where we have this group that we have on our meeting today. We have just over 200 alumni professionals in the Mighty Oaks Network on the East Coast. And we'll let Tyler talk about that here in just a second. But our BYU Idaho professionals can help out in one of 7 ways. Anybody who signed up for the network, we hope that you are representing us within your company. We do things like send you a pennant that you can put up in your office. We invite you once a year to buy a new shirt, a polo shirt, or a dress shirt, or get a briefcase that you can pack your stuff in that says BYU Idaho on it, just to let people know I'm the BYU Idaho person at this place. And then to mentor students on BYUI Connect. When you filled out your survey to join the network, we invited you to say, I can help, I'm willing to help in some of these areas. And this is what you guys are interested in. You can host expeditions. That's when Tyler and company, he'll talk about that in a minute, comes to your town with a group of students. Attend career fairs. Our career fairs have expanded to not just on campus. We've had several virtual career fairs, and we've also attempted, and we'll do some more, regional career fairs. Ben Watson did a regional career fair in the Boston area. These last 2 are new. That's where our students our alumni are offer and are saying, hey, I'm happy to help review a resume, a LinkedIn profile, a cover letter. We have a group of students that can, a student comes in and says, hey, I'm interested in doing this. We say, hey, we've got an alumni who's offered to review your stuff, and they'll usually connect it by industry or by company. And then the last one is admissions support. We are enrollment for and I used to work in admissions in 1986 until like this year. We've had an increase every year in enrollment. This last year is the first year we've had a decrease. And there's some factors involved with that. One of them is the number of 18-year-old LDS in the church is actually going to start declining. Just fewer kids out there. But because of that, we need a bigger ratio, a bigger number of the LDS kids to be coming to BYU Idaho. So we're going to ask our Mighty Oaks Network members to encourage kids to come. So the way it works, and we'll have Tyler talk here in a minute. If you're a BYU Idaho professional, you have access not only to us at the Career Center, but 2 people in particular. You have like 2 representatives. The first one is Tyler, who represents all of our professionals on the East Coast. And then the other one is Mark Willis, in this example, who represents a college. He actually represents a college and half of a college. So Gwen here, who is in education and in Virginia, has Tyler, who's doing the East Coast work, but then Mark Willis, who represents the College of Education and Human Development. And what we hope happens is if Gwen has an opening or knows of an opening within her company, then she needs to let us know. This could be for an internship or a full-time position. We can get it out on People Grove. That's BYUI Connect. That's the company that runs BYUI Connect. We can get it posted on our LinkedIn group. We can share it with department groups, college groups. And then, of course, we can put on Handshake, which is our job board. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Tyler, who's going to talk about what his group does. Take it away, Tyler.
All right. Thanks, Steve. All right. It's good to be here. It's good to see you guys. A lot of names I recognize, a lot of people I've worked with recently. It's good to see you. All right. I'm just gonna introduce just a couple people on here that our team, I guess, our employee relations teams, our career employment managers. There's a handful of us, and just kind of explain how it works a little bit on our side. So at the top here, I've got Steve Zollinger, and many of you may know Steve. He's been here quite a while. So he covers we cover two things. We cover a college. He in particular covers the College of Ag and Life Sciences, and his particular assignment is on the West Coast. So you're California, Oregon, Washington. That's what he does. For me, and I'll go more into depth in this, but just kind of a brief introduction. I cover the College of Business and Communication. That's mine. Mainly management, communication, and marketing. And of course, the East Coast is the region that I'll get into, and that's what I do anyways. Then you have Caleb Trujillo, just a new hire. We just hired him actually not too long ago from the online area. He does language and letters in the College of Visual and Performing Arts, interdisciplinary studies. So he has a few different colleges, and he does the Mid-Atlantic states, and you'll see that's just kind of the next step over from the East Coast. Mark Willis, he does the other side of business communication with me. He does accounting, finance, and economics. And then the CEHD, the College of Education, Human Development. And he's Midwest, which is mainly the northern part of the Midwest. And then Justin Hodges, he is College of Physical Science and Engineering, and he does the Southwest region of the country. And so that's our team essentially. And you can see on the map here how this is broken down. You'll notice, the whole East Coast, Florida up to Maine. That's where I put my focus on. That's where I spend most of my time working on. And you'll notice that we have service missionaries as well. That are listed on here. And then the East Coast, we have two sets of them. We have a set in DC, and then one in and a set in Philadelphia. So that's kind of how that's structured a little bit. But two different approaches. Two really different approaches in how we focus on this. When I'm focused on the East Coast, my whole goal is to focus on all alumni. It doesn't matter what area, doesn't matter what their major was, doesn't matter what industry they're a part of. I represent BYU Idaho in that area. And so I'm not as worried about just being College of Business Communication. At that point, I'm really just trying to help all alumni feel part of BYU Idaho. Okay. And, I'm out there quite a bit. Let's see, just to give you guys kind of an idea where, we're going to New York City in May is a stop we're making. I'm going to go be down in Orlando. We're doing some stuff in DC that I'm going to talk about in a second. And Charlotte, and so some of these aren't in my area, but nonetheless. So I'm going to focus on some of these areas where we have hot spots of alumni, places where things are going good, industry's thriving. I didn't realize how great some of these areas were. Like when I went out to Charlotte, I was just blown away. I see that we have alumni there, but when you go out there and you realize how many we have and just all the cool things that they're doing, it's been fantastic. But so when I'm looking at this, the way that I want to work with you is I want to be able to get together, come out and see you, put our heads together, and I want to focus on what works in that area, how we can bring more students out there. For instance, DC. Okay, let me give you a few examples of DC. And I know we have a couple DC folks on here, which a couple in particular that I'm going to be reaching out to really soon about this. Some of the obstacles we've had in DC is it's really hard to get an intern out there who can afford it, for one thing, right? Just to be able to afford being in DC is really, really hard. And that's always been an obstacle for us. We have so many good alumni who want to work with students all the time. I get a lot of emails and I try to send individual students out to, each individual person out there. And that's hard. It's hard to keep up. Probably not, sustainable. So what we looked at, and I started pitching this about 10 years ago. I've been going out there probably about 12 years now, to DC. And so for the past 10 years, though, I've been pitching this idea of let's get a formal internship program going, kind of like what BYU does out there. They have a Barlow House. They do a Washington seminar where it's a formal internship program. They go out, they meet every week. It's a cohort kind of a model thing, and they have housing there. And BYU is, I don't know how to put this nicely, but we're not exactly welcome in the Barlow Center to be able to use anything, and that's fine. It's it is what it is. No big deal. And so I've been pitching that we get some housing, we get something in place, and so this year is the first year that we actually got it approved. That's never it's crazy. I did not expect it to actually get approved. I was just kind of going through it because I do it every year. I want to do something and get some housing out there. So we did it. We got some apartments, and we've actually got the ability to have about as many apartments as we need out there. And so that's going to be awesome. We're going to kick that off in the fall. I'm putting together a board right now of alumni out there to get together and just to figure out the best way to structure this program going forward. So it's kind of exciting. And so that's one way that we've worked with that I've worked with DC was just those were the needs, right? And DC is unique. It's obviously unique. Those are the obstacles that we had. So those are the ones that we approached, we attacked, and we can resolve to a great extent with this program, right? We're going to be able to have interns who are going to go out, and the way that we're going to subsidize it and the way that they're automatically going to get an internship grant as being part of this program, they're going to do a whole internship for a semester and probably come close to breaking even on it. And it's not even going to cost them the way that we've got this structured, maybe a few $100. And it's amazing. So we're really excited about that. But that's DC. So that's how I want to work with you. I would love to be able to get with you guys and figure out what works the best in your area. And so I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time out there. I come out there quite a bit with faculty. We've got some big things coming anyways. We're going to be back in DC. And like I mentioned, there's a couple on here right now that are on the list I really want to talk to you about DC. So, but anyways, that's just an example. I'd love to be able to do something like that, not necessarily with the housing. Who knows? Let's get together and talk about it and figure out what the best way is and the best approach is to be able to help, get interns there, get people employed there, but not only just that, but to stay there, right? To be able to put some roots down and be able to build that community there. So that's my goal. That's what I want to be able to happen. We've got some decent resources. We really want to approach it from that perspective. So anyways, that's the point of that regional model. When we work with our colleges and stuff, we're doing trips, and that takes us all over the country. CBC, we have focuses in all different kinds of areas across the country, but East Coast is a big focus for us as well. So anyways, that kind of explains maybe hopefully my approach and what we're looking at and how we can interact and how we can work and partner up to be able to get students, get more people in your area. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of questions on that, but that's kind of a quick little spiel anyways.
Okay, Tyler, thank you. So this is a little summary of what we have in our network right now. We have 1,183 members of the Mighty Oaks Network. You can see how they break down by region. So in the West Coast, we have, East Coast, 210. And if you look at the areas that people have volunteered, 436 would like to help with career fairs, 821 virtual visits. We'll talk about that here in a second. Expeditions, 430. Part of it becomes a little group that we keep track of. You don't volunteer for that. That's just something we're following. Those who want to help with admissions, encouraging kids to come, 244. And job market readiness, resume review, cover letters, that kind of thing is 335. Now, those last two, admissions support and job market readiness, we've added in the last few months. And we did send out a survey to everybody saying, hey, please update where you want to help. And about half of our group have done that. So if you haven't done that, I'm going to show you a link at the end where you can go do that if you'd like to. But let's just talk about these areas that our alumni can help. And they're all fairly simple. The first one is just represent us within your company. Look for opportunities, as I mentioned earlier. peoplegrove.com, ces.peoplegrove.com, that's BYUI Connect. But the beauty about this tool is it's all of CES. So if you want to hop on there, you can be an alumnus on BYU Idaho, a friend for BYU. Many of you might be alumni for both BYU Hawaii or Ensign College. So you can help students from any of the CES schools. The next one is expeditions. Expeditions have been on hold because of COVID, but we actually had our first expedition in probably 3 or 4 years just last month in Dallas. Now, the one thing about expeditions, we know we have a big group that have volunteered to do that. I just hope people aren't sitting there waiting for a call because we're going to do a dozen a year when we get going again. But hopefully, and if you're in some major cities, there's a chance that you could see a group of students at your location. Career fairs, this is some good pictures of our career center. Again, on campus primarily, but we also do regional and virtual. Tyler, maybe tell me about what you've done. Some virtual ones. What's an example of? You did what's the government one? That one was virtual.
Oh yeah, we did a federal jobs kind of a one. I mean, a lot of people from DC, State Department, so forth. We did one of those virtual. We also just did a New England career fair, a virtual one as well, where we had companies from the New England area, and we targeted students from the New England area and others who wanted to end up in that area. We just did that recently, and that was fun. It was fun. Virtual's tough, but it's what we do. We still have to do it. It still works.
That's what COVID gave us. Yeah. The next one is virtual visits. Virtual visits is, I don't know why it's clicking so far. Virtual visits where you would be in front of a group of students, either a class or an academic society. We do have an event we're doing in the Alumni Center called Lunch and Learn, where we would get an alumnus in our career center. We have a bunch of pizza for the students because it's during our forum hour, 11:30 on Thursdays. But we were trying to build this. We just got to get the word out that we can do this more often. Job market readiness, quickly, that's just resume review, cover letters, those kinds of things. And then a really big push to encourage kids to consider coming to BYU Idaho, in spite of the fact that it's snowing and it's almost April today. It's like forever winter here. So Barry, do you have a question?
I do. And it has to do with admissions support and recruiting. So I'm here in the DC area, and I am part of a Spanish-speaking board, and I put a lot of emphasis when I'm working with the youth on college readiness, and we have programs set up to get them, if they can get into BYU Idaho or BYU. We have a pretty good support network. I don't know if you've heard of SOAR, the SOAR program in BYU down in Provo. It's a summer of academic refinement for target populations that are underrepresented in university level. So Latino, African-American, Pacific Islander, et cetera. And I was wondering if you've considered or thought of doing something like that just to help these students be successful, because the jump, these are kids that are going to university. They're the first generation in their family, almost in every case, at least the ones that I've sent. And it is a huge jump. And so I just wanted to put that out there and suggest that there could be a little bit more support for these families that have never sent kids to college before. So just a thought.
Tyler, are you aware of that at all?
I've heard of the program. I have heard of the program. I don't know a ton about it. In fact, somebody just mentioned that to me earlier this week, as well as something to look into.
Just to give you
Great
an
idea.
idea, I've got a senior that she was accepted to BYU Idaho. Super excited, but then when everything started to come in and like, I've got to do this and that, she had no idea. I've assigned a mentor to help her, but her parents were also just, they would look at the funding and the money and FAFSA, and they came to me and they were seriously considering, thinking that there was no way they were going to be able to do it because it just seemed so overwhelming. And so there's just this target group of potential students in the church where a BYU Idaho education would be amazingly empowering and help them also to remain strong in the faith and have, a good possibility to earn a living and then be able to serve. But getting from high school graduation, which is already a big achievement, into university and then successfully making it through that first year can be a big leap.
Yeah. I agree. I'll look in more into that program. Like I said, I've had that mentioned to me recently. So appreciate
Love to
that.
see
That's a great
something like
thought.
Vicksburg.
Yeah, thank you
Hey,
for that.
Barry,
Great
Yeah.
thought.
Barry, which stake are you in?
And the McLean stake.
You are? Okay, I'm out in Ashburn. I'd love to help you.
Okay, great. Well, we can talk more, Teresa.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Hey, Tyler, have you seen Ben's question on the chat? Could you respond to that maybe?
Yeah, I started typing something in. I haven't quite got there yet. That's an interesting question, and it's true. But it's not quite what I used to think it was. I used to think there was not as much interest of East Coast, but as I've been talking more with students and working with them on stuff, and even talking with faculty, the biggest concern is not that they want to do careers there. It really is they perceive these obstacles and they see that cost and they see those things, and so that interest is taken away pretty early on, right? That's kind of the hope of a lot of these programs, is to be able to see if let's get some housing, let's get something formal, let's get a cohort model going to where we can create some kind of structure, because the demand is there. I hear so many students who want to be in Boston, or they want to be in DC, they want to be in New York, but they just can't afford it, or they can't, there's plenty of those, obstacles and challenges that they face. But I think the demand is there, right? I think there's demand is there, and we've been working a lot with them, especially recently. I'm talking to as many as I can. We've done a few events to be able to, where I've gone to classes or I've gone to, societies and different things to try to get input from these students to figure out how interested they are in the DC side. And that is consistently what we hear, is they just don't think about it because it just seems like there's too many obstacles there. That's what I'm trying to address with stuff like this DC program. That's a great question.
Yeah, thank you. And we're also finding a lot of students on campus that started in Pathway. Josue, did you start Pathway, Josue?
Yeah, I started on Pathway 4 years ago, right after Mission. Then I'm here in Rexburg.
So from Mexico to BYU Idaho, and now working in the Career Center with us. So, okay, thank you. All right, so find my cursor. So it's a couple of success stories, and this is happening all across the country, but I just want to highlight a couple. This is Alicia Stratton. She was a student, a graduate in 2008, and she left BYU Idaho majoring in IT. She got a job at USAA in San Antonio and became a director there. She sent us a picture of her at USAA, which we highlight at different spots on campus and here in the Career Center. And we want students, as they come in, to say, oh, I can work at USAA. She returned to speak on campus at Power to Become, and she's spoken at Women in STEM. She's come back to, I don't know, a dozen career fairs. Now at USA, when she started, there was 7 of them, 7 BYU Idaho alumni working in San Antonio. Now there's 107. So an example of a really good success story at a really fantastic company. Justin Hodges, one of our employee relations managers, he reached out to some service missionaries they were serving a few years ago in Los Angeles. They made a contact at Toyota North America. Michael Zimmerman, and he was there, and he basically told Justin as they went out there with a group of students, and they said, you know, I don't know how much we're going to be able to help you. We really don't recruit from Rexburg. But they picked up Scott Caldwell in 2007. And now, a decade or so later, we have 37 employees. In 2008, there was 3. Now we have 37. And BYU Idaho is ranked as one of the top 5 campuses that Toyota North America recruits from. Mark Willis, again, one of our Tylers that goes out and talks to people. And what happens is Mark or Tyler will come to me and says, hey, I'm going to go to DC or Orlando. Mark came to me and says, hey, I'm going to be heading out in a month or 2 to Kansas City. And he went on that trip. Before he left, we had 9 members of our network in Kansas City. So we reached out to quite a few alumni in Kansas City, said, hey, would you like to be part of the network? By the time he got there for his official trip, we had over 50 BYU Idaho professionals as part of the network. And he had a little informal pizza gathering, kids invited, and they had about 120 people and some really good, well-placed connections. Clay Scott with Honeywell, Jeff Ledbetter with Yellow. And he had such a good experience that we decided that we were going to pilot our first regional P2B in Kansas City. And we did that last week in Kansas City. So this is just a recent event. Power to Become on campus. We have a speaker that's hopefully going to motivate our alumni and our students. We share the vision of the Career Center. We give an update about the university. So there in Kansas City, we had 110 guests. We had some members of our network, quite a few other alumni, current students, off-track students, interns, and we had several pathway people. We had a couple people who were in the online degree programs. And we just had a fantastic experience with them. And then this last slide, well, it keeps clicking off of stuff, but you know, if you and for those of you that we'll send this recording out, if you just click on this link, actually you can't click on it, but we'll put it in the email or use this QR code. It's just an update form, so we make sure we know currently the areas that you would like to help us with. So, all right, Tyler's been communicating. Any other questions we've missed? Or do any of you have any questions that you'd have for Tyler, myself, or Josue on how we can help you guys and make this? And we promised 30 minutes, so we're a little bit past that, so we won't go too much longer. But any questions? We're going to be planning, we think, probably our next regional P2B probably in the fall-ish on the East Coast. So we had our meeting this morning. We had people lobbying, come to Charlotte, but we'll let you know. I know Tyler's going to go out 3 or 4 times a year to different spots, but we'll let you know on that.
Yeah, thanks, Steve and Tyler. Just one quick comment and a question. So Ben here. It almost feels like an impossible task for some of us kind of out here in the middle of nowhere. Like I have a campus of 3,000 people on it. There are 2 members on the campus. And I have massive internship programs. I have large rotation programs where I bring people in from Bentley, University of Minnesota, University of Massachusetts, Amherst, Babson, some of the other business schools, and we do massive. It just feels like we could fit BYU Idaho in there. I just haven't figured out how to do it, and it just feels like a big task. So I don't know how we can get something started and turn it into a good story. But we could use people like we have at BYU Idaho. I just haven't unlocked how to create that pipeline. So maybe more conversations.
So Ben, remind us where you're with Boston.
I'm in Boston Scientific.
Yeah.
So it's a 50,000 people around the world, headquarters here in Massachusetts, but bigger sites in Minnesota and other places. And I've had quite a few conversations with folks who've reached out about internships and other opportunities, and they've never panned out. And eventually I got kind of tired of going through the cycle of trying to get people out here and then deciding they wanted to kind of stay closer to family or to only do an internship but wouldn't be interested in a full-time job, which to me isn't, I hire interns. I don't bring interns out just for purely their benefit.
Yeah,
I'm
you want them,
obviously,
you want them to stick around. Yeah, okay, that's great.
or if I want them, I want them to stick around. So.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I'm at GDIT. And we've got a robust internship program, but it's hard to get into. I also have 38,000 employees around the country and 224 properties that I manage. It's hard to get it established, so we need some help with that. I do have a great HR program here. We do have a group that is out recruiting constantly. So I need to figure out who that is so that we can get connected, but there's so many students that we could certainly pull this direction if they wanted to come to DC.
Okay, Tyler's your guy, Teresa, so.
Yeah, that's great. And Teresa, we'll be talking pretty soon about some things happening out there as well.
Sounds good. Can we get my twin nephews out there? Because they need to go to BYU Idaho. But
There you
I will
go.
tell you, they both just graduated. They're here going to Northern Virginia Community College because, quote, it's cheaper than getting on a plane and going to BYU Idaho. And I would love for them to have that better experience, but they don't want to spend the money. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Let's get them out here though. We can do it.
Mhm.
Figure it out. Oh, that'd be awesome. Love to.
Be great. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll wrap this up, and thank you guys for spending an hour of your evening with us, and we'll do this again probably in about a year, but let's don't wait that long. Tyler's right there for you. We're here to help with anything alumni, so please reach out.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks so much.